I met a gypsy.
I feel like there's a moment in most people that like end up kind of achieving whatever they set out to do, where you just kind of like exactly what you said, where it's like you just kind of realize how much work it's going to take, and then you just accept it. You're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
All right, I guess it is what it is.
It's funny though, because like right now I train with Jet Reynolds. He works with Brock. Poor guy, he keeps just getting injured, but he'll bounce back. He'll be good. But like I train with those guys, and I love riding with the PC guys because they have so much youth, and they're so just want to be successful, you know. So they're just young, and it keeps me excited because I feel like sometimes like when I was at Aldon's, it was like a bunch of grumpy old guys, you know. It was like Zach, Marvin, Dunge. And not that they were good to train with and stuff like that, but you could tell they had an aspect of all of us that were somewhat jaded, you know?
Yeah.
And they were kind of like a little bit like a little grumpy a little bit some days, but these kids just show up every day and they send it, you know. And like I ride with like McAdoo and all those kids, but I always tell Jet when we're on the road ride, I'm like, dude, just think you got 12 more years of this shit. I just like, and I know he hates it. I'm just like talking crap to him. I'm like, dude, you just got 12 more years of this. And he thinks it's funny.
Yeah,
Try
dude.
and make it light.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so hard. It'd be so hard to have the perspective though. Like, Casey Stoner retires at 27, millions of dollars, super successful, great wife, great family. If you fucking put in the work, like there's just not many opportunities that you can get as a young person to go, damn, dude, by the time I'm 30, like I could be retired and I could just be doing what I want to be doing. And I think that it'd be so hard on those road rides when you're like just fucking getting dropped. You've got a headwind. You're in the middle of nowhere. You've run out of water. It's like to have that perspective. But I mean, at some point you'll be 30. And at some point, you know, you're either going to look back.
And it goes by in a blink of an eye.
Crazy quick, huh?
Yeah. Like, dude, I remember some of those times, like my first year at Aldon's and we were going through boot camp, and I would be like, we'd do the road ride and I would have to ride up the hill by his house to my apartment. And, dude, some days I wouldn't even go. I would just go to his house and have someone pick me up. Cause it's just like, and to be able to be like, yeah, you just got to do this. And like, it's going to be good for you. You're like, what? It's just crazy. But now you get to that point where you're 30. I'm 29 right now. I turn 30 next year, and there's nothing else I'd rather be doing. Yeah. And that's it's a coming of age thing, I guess you could say. And I wouldn't necessarily say the clock's ticking, but you really want to enjoy it for as long as you can. You know, some people really want to work hard and retire early, you know, and at one point I thought I was maybe one of those guys, but now I'm like the actual process. I'm enjoying it more than I ever have. Yeah. And that's something I never thought I would be, like, that guy. And I could have never, like, those few years at Aldon, I'm like, dude, I can only handle this for one more year. year. And then, shoot, it's almost 8-9 years later. And, man, I'm enjoying it just as much as anything. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. So that's I'm glad I've made it to this point because it feels pretty damn cool. Yeah. So, yeah.
Do you think with this attitude, because I remember you being pretty miserable at Aldon's, like even just being in Claremont. Yeah. Do you think, like, you're probably not going to, but do you think you could go back and like enjoy that program now just with like a fresh perspective and like having kind of been through it? Or is it just something that you just don't think you could enjoy it again?
I needed time away. I really did. And I stopped working with Aldon, but my relationship was never bad with him. And right now I could go back and I could. But at that point, it wore on me so hard. Not only did like maybe like my success kind of wear on me, the training wore on me. managing relationships within Aldon's facility with all the guys and stuff like that. Cause like, dude, it's tough because you want to show up to the track and you want to be able to be vulnerable, you know, and it's hard to be vulnerable when you got all of this stuff around you. And good on Aldon, cause he really built an amazing, you know, facility, and you know, he's probably making kick-ass money. And I love Aldon though, because he'll always tell you, he'll be like he's broke, but he ain't broke. But the thing is he's done a great job, and that's one thing that I've never knocked him for. I'm like, bro, you're running a business, I'm running a business. I'm trying to ask Husky for as much money as I could get. You're trying to ask me for as much money as I could get. Respect, you know? Yeah. But I needed a little bit of time away, and I stopped working with him. And then last summer, it was cool because I got hurt, but I came back and rode for 2 months. And I rode at Aldon's with him, you know, and I was doing motos with all the guys and everything like that. And I really think that it wouldn't be that hard for me to go back into it, just because I know like my base is good and the suffering wouldn't be as bad as it was when I was younger. And this is crazy, but I think within Aldon's program, you kind of got to manage yourself, because the hard part is you're cycling with like 4 guys who they all want to be the strongest, and they want to have, it's your egos, you know? And for me, I think that I understand now that some days I would just let them have it, you know? But at some points when I was like cycling and stuff like that, you'd be like wanting to drop them and stuff like that. I'd be like, Marv beat me last weekend. Like, I'm going to make you suffer on this road ride. And trust me, I never made him suffer. I was not that strong because I wasn't into cycling. Like, and then when like Zach came along, oh dude, that dude just loves road bike. And I'm like, bro, just fucking chill. One day, give us one day a week. But, it was tough for me. And then being away from it, I feel like I could go back and I could manage it way better and enjoy it. But the hard part for me was I didn't really enjoy living in Florida too. Yeah. And I'm a West Coast kid. I'm from the West Coast. I grew up in New Mexico, and we would race in California, you know? So I really enjoy it out here. So I feel like right now my happiness is here. Yeah. And that's like a big part of it, because I don't think you're progressing if you're not that happy. You know, you can only be miserable for so many years. Yeah. And I think being close to my family and having my whole setup here is really good for me.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.